Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of All Things Universal Orlando. Today, we're going to be looking at the top 5 Universal resorts in regards to theming. So I've been thinking about just the different kind of videos that we could make each week, and I really enjoy looking at the resorts, so to speak. It's kind of one of my favorite things. Even when I go on vacation, I would say even when my family goes on vacation, one of the highlights, one of the priorities for us is which resort will we stay in? Now, we usually wind up staying at Royal Pacific, and it is easily our favorite resort of everything that Universal Orlando offers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I think it's the best in terms of all these things. So I'm thinking about going and doing even more series in the resort kind of thing, kind of phase, and talking about different strengths of each resort, where some are really good and some are not so good. So I thought we'll start with theming. I mean, this is a theme park. Universal Orlando Resort is, I think, taking the theme park theming element to the next level. And we're seeing Disney match it and really do an excellent job with things like Galaxy's Edge and Pandora. So let's look at the top 5 Universal Orlando resorts in regard to theming. Which one is themed the best? Which one maybe not so much? Before we begin, I want to remind you to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can be made aware every time we have a new video. So let's get to it.
Great Scott, number 5.
Number 5 is the most recent Universal Orlando resort. It's the one that is newest. In fact, we have it. It's a sister resort going to be opening up in just over a month from now, all things considered. And that is, of course, Endless Summer Surfside Inn. I thought this was a really nice place. I like resorts, and I like new resorts. And this is not a hotel. This is absolutely a resort. It's enormous in size. Like I said, it has its sister resort right next to it. There are a lot of rooms. I don't have any of those statistics with me because we're not going to talk about that, and I'm not going to review each resort. I've already done that. But I'm going to talk about the theming here. They've captured it and built it around this Southern California surfing community element, and I think they've done that very well. The rooms have surfboards in them. They have light colored aesthetics that make you feel like you're at the beach. The ambiance of the entry, the foyer there, whatever you want to call it, the lobby, I guess, with the aesthetic on top that looks like jellyfish or those kind of things, the rolling waves made out of wood. Everything about this screams, I'm somewhere else. But it doesn't scream it loudly. I think they actually could have done better with this. I think they could have added a whole number of elements. There could have been more surfing facades. It's not just about surfboards, but there are a lot of people who are into surfing and a lot of professional surfers, a lot of beach elements. But even the pool to me was disappointing. It is big and it is shaped like a surfboard, but it doesn't have that beach feel to it the way that, say, maybe Royal Pacific or even Hard Rock does on some element. So I thought they missed out in some of that theming as well. But all in all, I think it's themed pretty well. I think it captures the element of what they're trying to capture in regards to this Southern California summer oasis kind of a thing that's geared around surfing. I like that they made it a value resort, but at the same time I don't like that, because what it does is it causes Universal, or Lowe's, who's partnered with Universal to build these resorts and hotels, it causes them to maybe scrimp on some quality to make it affordable. I appreciate that and I understand that, and there is a need, and I'm grateful that Universal sees and recognizes that need. And I would say this, for whatever price they paid for it, it's a great hotel for a value resort, and that's saying something. But when it comes to theming, it does a really good job. Not a great job, but a really good job. And that's why this one comes in at number 5.
Number 4. Boop, boop, be-doo, boop.
Number 4 is one of my favorite resorts there. I've stayed there multiple times. It's the Hard Rock Hotel. 4 to 1 is really close, and at any point on this list, they could boy, it's almost like a tie for number one, but I've tried to put them in order. And Hard Rock Hotel is a wonderfully themed resort. It's called a hotel, but it is a resort. Again, enormous in scale. It offers something for everybody. The one thing that I thought was the most surprising the very first time I stayed there is I wasn't expecting such opulence, such luxury in a resort called the Hard Rock. Now, you're going back 20 years ago, the first time I ever stayed there. But what I noticed was that it was just excellent from top to bottom. They really spared no expense. Lowe's did a great job building this. And even though the theme is unique, because how do you theme something on Hard Rock? Well, you have memorabilia, and they've done an amazing job with that. They've patterned this and themed it around the Eagles Hotel California album, and it matches that facade. You feel like you could be at that place, and that's saying something. The theming of the lobby, where you have big television screens that are showing music videos that are current, is also a benefit. I mean, I think it makes sense, but even if you go into the gift shops there, everything is themed around Hard Rock. They're unique. It's not just Universal, it's Hard Rock. It's its own tag, it's its own identity, and I think that's pretty neat. But I gave you a terminology, or I said what I said in the review that I did of Hard Rock a while ago, and I'll put links to all of those here, was that it's like they've given you a museum with bedrooms, and that's exactly what they've done. There's probably something from every favorite rock and roll band throughout history in this resort somewhere. You may have to ask and find it. And if you can't find it there, take a walk, 5-minute walk over to the Hard Rock Cafe and find it there, because it's more of the same. It's almost an extension. And I think if you could tag those two things together, this would probably easily be number one, but I'm not doing that. I'm just looking at the resort in and of itself. Hard Rock has something for everybody. It's a little pricey. It's one of the premier resorts, and as you know, it comes with Express Pass, and that's part of why it's pricey. But it's really good, and there's really nothing else like this anywhere in the world. I don't know of anything like this. It's almost like going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and seeing all the amazing stuff they have there. Mentioned in the review I did before, they actually have their own archive. It's like a huge basement where they keep all of this memorabilia, so they can constantly be changing it should they like to remain current. But with rock and roll and history, I don't know that you have to be current. But in any event, I think the rooms are great as well. I mean, with the facade on the mirror, and they have the element of how high or how tall many rock stars are, and how you compare to that, the drumstick facade, everything about it, absolutely everything about this is themed beautifully. And that's why Hard Rock Hotel comes in at number 4.
3.5. Wait, 3 or 3.5?
Number 3, my favorite, Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort. I say it all the time, easily my favorite. I just love this place. I feel good when I'm here. I walk in, I go across the bridge into the lobby, and I'm like, man, it's here. I've done it. I'm good. I could stay there and never stay at another resort and be pretty happy about that. I wouldn't mind at all. It is another one of their premier resorts. It does come with Express Pass, but it's themed amazingly, and I think it's underrated as far as theming goes. You don't really hear about this as such a great theme, but when you capture the element of the South Seas, and this resort is themed around Bali, and everything about it is that. I mean, even the frog facade, the frog culture that they kind of have there at Royal Pacific, all of those frogs are made or created by an artist in Bali who unfortunately is no longer with us. And I have a number of those frogs. I actually started collecting them. Some of them are very expensive, and some of them not so much. But the element of theming is there. At no other resort, not even some other ones that are coming on this list, do I feel transported into a new area. I feel like I'm not in the United States. I feel like I'm in a completely different culture, and a completely different feel, and a completely different place. And they've captured that beautifully. They have the beach facade that's on the lake out there. The pool is unique in and of itself and enormous. But all of the woodwork, the patio area where the elephants are bathing in the water, the porte cochere, the bridge going onto going into the lobby, everything about this is remarkable. When you look out over the bridge, you see the lily pads. Everything in this hotel is amazing. It's why I stay there most of the time. It's why when I think about where do I want to stay, or do I want to stay somewhere else, do I want to challenge my intellect and try something different, I always talk myself out of it, and we always stay there. Sometimes we'll stay at multiple resorts when we go back just to have the experience. And I always weigh it against Royal Pacific. It is my favorite. But when it comes to theming, I don't know what more they could have done. I just think the element of theming is outstanding. And as much as I'm talking about how great this one is, there's 2 more that are better than this. But for all of those reasons, Lowe's Royal Pacific comes in at number 3.
Number 2.
Number 2. The difference between 2 and 1, the variable that made number 1 and this one number 2 is so minute, I almost called it a tie. I really had a struggle. Which one of these 2 resorts, in my opinion, is themed better? And it was challenging. And I'll talk about when I get to number 1 why I gave that one the edge. But number 2 is Cabana Bay. Cabana Bay, when it first opened, blew me away at how amazing it looked. The color scheme, that retro 50s, 60s vibe, I mean, it really captures that. Am I in the late 50s or am I in the early to mid 60s? I really don't know, and that's what's great. It's captured that. The cars that are parked out front, just the ambiance of everything about this resort, the furniture that they put in the lobby. Man, it's good. The insignia, the big sign that says Cabana Bay, everything about this captures transformation. It really does. It's not as inclusive as I would like it. I think if there are too many areas here where I can see outside of the resort and know that I'm not in the 50s, know that I'm not in the 60s. I don't like that. That was marks against it, but it had nothing to do with why it's at number 2. It's a great resort. It's just amazing from the standpoint of theming. All of that being said, it's my least favorite resort. It's loud. It is an economy resort, so it's always crowded. The pools are good, but crowded, and I don't like that. When I'm on vacation, I want to not deal with that. I've said before, maybe this is unfair, but it's kind of the Walmart of Universal resorts. I like Walmart. I'm at Walmart all the time. But I don't like going to Walmart, and I kind of feel the same way with Cabana Bay. We don't stay there, and I don't want to stay there ever again. It's good, and I like it. The Jacqueline Fitness Center, the bowling alley underneath. I mean, the standpoint of theming is unmatched, really, except by only one. And those are the reasons that Cabana Bay comes in at a very close number 2. Well, before we get to the number 1 themed resort that Universal Orlando offers, let's look at the top 5 so far. Number 5, Endless Summer Surfside Inn. I just gave you a review on it not too long ago. It is themed around a Southern California beach vibe. It captures that. It's new, it's clean, it's fun, it's cheap, it's excellent. Cheap is wrong. It's inexpensive, and that's excellent. Number 4 is the Hard Rock Hotel, an amazing hotel. It's a museum with bedrooms. Number 3, my favorite, Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort. The Bali South Seas theme is hard to match. I think it's often compared to the Polynesian at Disney, and I think it kills the Polynesian. I don't think it's even close. The Polynesian is maybe a little more colorful, but I don't think it accurately captures the South Seas the way that Lowe's Royal Pacific does. Kudos, and that's why it's number 3. Number 2, a very close second, is Cabana Bay. It's just an amazingly themed resort. The color scheme, the bedrooms, everything about it is themed. There's no element in this resort that they have not themed brilliantly. Kudos to Universal. So here it is.
Hey, number 1.
The number 1 themed resort at Universal, Lowe's Portofino Bay. I've stayed there. It's the highest end resort that they have, and it feels like that. It looks like that. It caters to that. It does all of those things. You feel like you've been transformed. I'm married to an Italian. I've been to Italy, and they've captured it beautifully. They've really embraced that element of being somewhere else. From the moment if you drive in and you drive around Portofino Bay and you see the facade of the resort in the distance, my breath is taken away. I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this. Look where we're staying. This is amazing. And it really is. You go out onto the courtyard and you're looking up and it's like you're surrounded in a piazza in Italy, and it is very much what that looks like. I've never been to Portofino in Italy, but it captures the Italian essence of opulence. When you go inside, the luxury is second to none, and it has an Italian flavor to it. The rooms are large, the theming in the hallways is even good, the elevators, the waiting area, everything about this is themed remarkably. But it really comes down to the feeling that you have when you're outside. When you're in the courtyard, overlooking the bay, and you see all of the rowboats just hovering there, or you're waiting to get on the water taxi, and you just look around you, and the color scheme and the facade, the design, the buildings don't look new because nothing in Italy is new, and they've just done it so amazingly well. The restaurants have that Italian, true Italian restaurant theming down. It doesn't look like Olive Garden when I go inside. It looks like a restaurant that I'd find in Italy. There's nothing like this. The only thing that to me is not overly Italian about it, but even that's not fair, is Sal's Deli. But Sal's Deli captures a New York style Italian, something you might find in Little Italy there in New York, or in any town with a Little Italy. The theming of Portofino Bay is unmatched. Like I said, Cabana Bay was close, but the reason I gave this one number one was just the feeling that you get when you walk out into that courtyard, whether you're listening to the singers, whether you're just taking it all in, whether you're waiting for the water taxi, no matter what it is you're doing, it's amazing. You feel different, you feel transported, and everywhere you walk in this hotel, they have the section inside that gives you the appearance of being outside with the lights that string around, and you go into, they have their own little square kind of in the middle there. The swimming pool captures with the little fort or whatever you want to call it. Man, it seems dated, but it's not. It feels new. This is a great theming job that Lowe's has done with Universal Orlando. I don't know who designed it. I know Lowe's built it. I don't know who came up with it, but what a great job they did. So for all of those reasons, Lowe's Portofino Bay is the number one themed resort at Universal Orlando. Guys, thanks for watching. Keep liking, keep subscribing. Please put your comments in there. Tell me what you think are the top 5. Tell me why you agree with me. Tell me why you disagree with me. Give me some more ideas of some more videos that you'd like to see broken down. Coming up, we're gonna do some city walk stuff. I'm waiting on some more footage for that. And then probably next month we'll get some footage of the new in the summer resort, and we'll probably break that down as well. But guys, please like and subscribe, hit the bell notifications, and remember, go bless somebody else today and watch what happens in your life. Thanks.